This is Queen Koi, actually, coming from Array of Gratitude. Doing some big things, changing up some things. We're doing a lot of different things here right now. I told myself I don't want to post if I'm not feeling well, and there's been a lot of epiphanies, downloads, all that jazz going on through these retrogrades, and the biggest thing was telling me to love myself a little bit deeper and giving me more self-care. And as I did that, I started really understanding a little bit more of what I was doing here. So on this channel, I do offer solutions for my womenpreneurs, right? My spiritual babes, to um, really help them step into their business full time, right? Give them and share with them self-care practices that can help them recharge their energy and definitely give them the soul guidance that they need so they can trust their selves. Because that has been a big part of my journey. And I definitely want to help people find ways to do that for themselves, right? So occasionally I will be on this channel giving you card readings because that's something I just love to do. It lights my soul up. And I specifically target this to my solopreneurs, my womenpreneurs, or possibly my Queen of Wandpreneurs. um, so if you stumbled across this, this is a timeless reading. So this fits you to where you're at. We're going to talk about some blocks that you may not be aware of that are blocking you from work, blocking you from stepping into your business. Work blocks, business blocks that you're unaware of. All right. So I want you to pause for the cause and take a deep breath, right? And then pick your pile. We got pile 1, we got pile 2, and we got pile 3. Definitely stick around to the end of this message so I can share with you some new news that's going on. But without further ado, I just want to say thank you for the people that have been rocking with me. We're gaining more people. Thank you for liking and commenting. And for the newcomers, thank you for showing up. I hope that you stick around. If you're feeling the vibe, definitely subscribe, hit that like button, that bell, so you can be notified. And let's get into this reading, y'all. So again, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. All right, y'all, we got pile 1. Let's see what the situation here is for you. We'll talk about the blocks and then we'll go into the advice, all right? So we have this card here. The habits you made to survive will no longer serve you when it's time to thrive. Excuse me, y'all. I'm definitely picking up like solar plexus energy. I love to incorporate chakras with your business blocks because with entrepreneurship, as within, so without, straight like that. If you're having personal blocks in your life, within yourself, it's going to show up in your business one way or other. Thus, the reason blocks that you're unaware of, right? So maybe that there has been some habits that you are used to making, right? But you're starting to realize like, all right, what's going on here? Because these things aren't happening. And a lot of times when it becomes habits, it's part of your character. And in order to shift and change your character, it's basically almost like you're changing your identity, honestly. Like, if you ever heard of identity crisis and things like that, that's definitely solar plexus energy, because your solar plexus talks about the self, being aware of how you're implementing yourself and taking charge in the world here. So look, we have 2 of Wands here. That's the situation. How are you going? Where is the direction that you're going? How are you moving forward? Are these passions that you once loved, are they still passionate? A lot of times I read somewhere, I don't know the statistical numbers, but I read somewhere that it definitely was like over 50% of entrepreneurs usually fail within their first, we say fail with bunny ears, right? Because they learn from the lessons. Because I know I failed from my first business. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, snap. So usually like entrepreneurs that have a second or third business, right? They're doing a lot better. It kind of reminds me of motherhood, right? Parenthood, where you have the first baby. A lot of us are like, what the heck is going on? What are you doing, right? But then when you have that second child or third child, it's kind of like, all right, I know what I'm doing, right? I definitely always think of business as the babies, because it really is. You have to nurture it. It grows at your speed, actually. So the challenge here, though, is the discs, the 6 of discs. I'm hearing loud and clear, am I receiving money for my services? Like, are you? Definitely balance here. This kind of looks like Lady Justice, but it also is reminding me of in the tarot card Temperance. You know, are you patient with yourself? Also, boundaries, right? This card streams boundaries, and that's another thing when it comes to the solar plexus, the sacral plexus. Oh, not sacral plexus, even though that is such thing, but it's not your chakra, but your sacral chakra, right? All these lower, the lower chakras, right? Let's bring it on down because I'm feeling like I'm speeding up. I'm getting mad messages. The lower chakras definitely deal with the earthly realm, right? The tangible things, the money, the people, the relationships. And we have business relationships as well. And as you can see too in this card, there's a hint of green. And it's also reminding me of the heart chakra, because I was speaking with someone today and talking about like how I've been working through my heart chakra issues. You know, when you don't trust yourself, or you don't trust other people, you become accustomed to not trusting yourself, right? And it's like a tug and pull, because like you don't trust people because actually in the past you didn't trust yourself, and you not trusting yourself is not going to trust other people, and it's just going to be kind of like right? But when you can, how it can show up in your business is, you know, you not being open to receive. Somebody might be coming through and the lingo that they're using or the vibes that they're showing kind of feel shaky, right? And because you don't trust yourself enough to really understand, like, do I want to investigate this a little bit deeper? Do I want to say no and wait for something else to come? It's going to block your blessings. It's going to block the flow of receiving. And it looks like there may be some advice to actually write things down, affirm things. I'm not sure. So let's get deeper into this block first, and then we'll talk about some more advice. So what we got here? We got forgiveness, and we got the miracle card. Miracle card straight off the back is, what did I say? The solar plexus, right? I find this interesting. And right now, I might have to pause for the cause because my throat feels like it's just like getting a lump in it. You know, when you're about to cry and you have that like tightness in your throat? That's what I feel right now. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Definitely don't like that. Don't feel like I'm crying at all. So I don't know if anybody, I don't know if anybody's watching this, but, you know, I do want to say if you need to cry, like that is a form of release, okay? Because like you may have been trying and trying and trying and trying and trying and trying and trying, right? And it's like you've been hitting yourself up against a brick wall. So as I'm recording this, this is, what day is this? January 15th, 2023. Now, again, my messages are timeless, so I don't know when you're watching this. But we literally just got out of Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde was in retrograde for 3 months. And if you're not familiar with, why am I going blank here? If you're not familiar with astrology, right? You may actually kind of be like, what is going on? What's wrong with me? Da, 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 da. Like a lot of times I'll feel something and then I start seeing repetitive patterns like outside of me. And that's when I check astrology. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, it's not just me. I have to remind myself that because sometimes I get used to like my ego likes to tell me, hey, it's only you going through this. Nobody understands you. And I have to constantly be like, man, F out of here. Take several seats. You know what I'm saying? Because spirit doesn't speak like that. Spirit doesn't. And this is the thing. Um, Whether you're watching this, if this is a confirmation, this is a confirmation. Like, you haven't been doing anything wrong. It's just the energy that has been going on. Like, if you're in astrology, have you ever looked at your birth chart, or if you can understand your birth chart, definitely look and check where Mars placement is in your chart, because Mars was in Gemini. Check where Mercury is. Check where the Gemini, like check your third house, or check wherever Gemini's house is ruled, because that's how it's going to show up. And, like how I was saying, a lot of it showed up with myself. A lot of it showed up with looking at the ways that I hide and looking at the ways that I assert myself and do things big and stand in confidence. That was how Mars was speaking to me a lot. And it was also speaking in a few other things, but I want to stick with you here. What's been blocking you here is the way that you speak to yourself too. Like forgiveness, this shows in this card actually is the Anja chakra, the brow chakra, or the third eye chakra, most popularly known. I'm not quite sure why it's that one, but I can just tell you and speak on forgiveness. Maybe it's because it's acceptance as well. Like, these cards give like little stories, and I think something happened where I'm never gonna hold y'all. I don't even remember, but it was something about how he needed to forgive and feel safe. Because if you see here in the background, let me see if we can get this. Yeah, see these people in the bushes? It's like he felt safe with this rhino. And I'm feeling like there may have been a situation, at work, being amongst people that didn't understand you, didn't really feel like trustworthy, but you had to work with these people. And like a lot of times people don't talk about this, but people do get bullied at work, and that creates a work trauma. And at times that can cause you to not be assertive or be like competitive because these other people are becoming competitive, or become combative, right? Is that the word? Or actually shrink yourself, and then through those experiences, they get held within the chakras, within your energy field, or like we like to say in layman's term, they get stored in the back of your mind, right? And you kind of forget about it, but that experience is still there, and you're still carrying that energy until you become aware, until you become present of that energy, is when you can actually um, release it. And if you don't know how to release it, then you go to someone, a healer, practitioner, whatever, right, that can help it for you. I love to talk about chakras because chakras were known, like the terminology, the understanding of them has expanded beyond just Reiki for me. I started understanding what chakras were through my Reiki, um, as a Reiki practitioner, right? But these blocks here, it's kind of feeling like you don't really trust certain people. And it could be your heart chakra. It could definitely be the third eye. I guess the third eye wanted to come through because I was looking at this card saying third eye. I wanted to say it can definitely be the solar plexus. But it possibly is the third eye. Like, for instance, like if you're a designer or creator, right, watching this, and you've worked in corporate or worked in a design job for people doing your design skills, if you weren't ever affirmed for your great talents that was well needed, you know, that could do something to you. If you were forced to create, like constantly push out things, right? Um, in a way that felt kind of dismissive from other people in the workforce, that can do something to this. And there's also something that's trying to come through here that, you know, when you have to push your creativity and you don't feed your soul, that causes a lot of burnout. So there's a lot of things here. Like, I like to talk about corporate, you know, and corporate doesn't always have to be in cubicles here. But when dealing with corporate and working for people, businesses, bigger businesses, definitely, it's corporate. And the way the culture is set up, it doesn't really, it definitely doesn't help free thinkers. It definitely doesn't help sensitive souls. You know, I sure enough was not able to fit into the box, the cubicle. And I've I got some stories, y'all. But if this is hitting, this is hitting. So let's give you some advice here. Let's see. Let's talk about the advice here. What do we have for you? Because we have Princess of Swords, and I'm kind of feeling like there's some advice for you to just work on affirming yourself and loving yourself, so you feel good with the words that you speak onto yourself, onto your business, as well as speak onto so you can receive the compliments from other people. So this says shame dims the light of your innocence. Now this is also something that this might be for a particular person, but oh man, reel it back in because it's fading away. Okay. So I was just thinking, I was just speaking to my dad about this. Like, if you worked for a company that you found out like really went against your morals, but you had to pay the bills. For instance, because I remember my high school teacher, the last 2 years of high school, I went to a communications high school. I was so souped because I got to leave my original high school for a half a day and go to somewhere that I like doing with graphic design. And the teacher there, she was talking about this job that she had, and the boss was like a straight up dick, and she started realizing how like shady the business was. And for some reason, we started talking about Camel cigarettes. And I remember they used to come to my house, probably because my dad smoked cigarettes. I don't know, but I'm a design geek. And this is just in my blood to like literally look at details and stuff. And I was looking at the advertisements, and they were really good. Clearly they were targeting like younger people, but like the graphics were just very attractive. And I thought about it. I think we were having a discussion about this, but I thought about it because the teacher asked, like, what would you do if, you know, you had to work for a company that was against your morals? And I thought about Camel, like, what if I got hired for Camel cigarettes? Would I want to do that? Now, I grew up with my dad smoking cigarettes my whole life, and I remember my mom always talking crap about how unhealthy it is. And it is. One, why would I want to do, you know where I'm going? So part of me, for some reason, that's a special message for someone. Shame is a light that dims your innocence. I definitely, shame dims the light of your innocence, right? Just because you didn't know, right? Because innocence is not knowing. But when you become aware, when that light gets shined on that, and you still go against the grain, still do not beat yourself up, because your soul may not be ready to move on from that lesson, i.e., the Two of Wands. But when you have it in your heart to trust yourself, when you have it in your heart to actually want to find more answers, you know, want to find the safety of understanding how to break free from these habits. Spirit and your soul will lead you to where it is, no matter how long it takes you, okay? So let's talk about, okay, yeah, speaking this and trusting your words. Because, again, trusting your intentions. Because if you have the intention, like, hey, I really want to quit smoking, let's say, and it's taking you a long time, don't beat yourself up. You just might need to stay with the energy for a little bit longer so you can really understand the depths of your soul and understanding how to break free from this, right? How to add more light into this, because you are very much in the dark and you may not even know, right? Now I'm looking here at the tree and it definitely reminds me of ancestors. I could go on and on. I don't really want to make these so long, right? But your ancestors walk with you, whether you see them, whether you feel connected with them or not. And 9.99, they live in the shadows of what we do, like just the energy itself, right? But to be more direct, like maybe when you have health issues, a lot of times it's from your ancestors. Why do you think doctors ask you, have you ever had a history of, cancer, whatever, blah blah blah, right? um you may have an ancestor that was an entrepreneur, right? Going through the same damn things, but you never knew. um you may have an ancestor that dealt with mental health, right? Depression. I don't know. But it is up to you, once that light is shined, for you to start working through them, for you to start researching even, um just because you can't take this action steps doesn't mean that you can't actually um read up on stuff, gain some wisdom and knowledge, and forgive your past so you can regain and heal the future. Because I'm looking at this sofa, you may need to just rest. Mars retrograde was resting, staying still enough so you can understand what is going on and see this light coming on. Because one thing for sure, if you rest, like, what if the lesson was to rest? Get some rest, because something quick is happening and about to come through. Speaking life over your business, speaking life over yourself, speaking abundant words over yourself, knowing that you are worthy, and whatever you have done in the past, right? Or whatever other people have done to you in the past does not mean that you have to be a victim anymore, because that light is shined on you and it's time to move forward, because you are being that light. And that with that bright light is showing a path lit for you to move forward and grow in your soul essence. Okay, so what block that you're unaware of could be multiple things, but it's definitely something that I've been picking up on: the heart and the solar plexus, for sure, pile one. And, um, you know, dig a little bit deeper, and advice on helping you remove these blocks is really about speaking, planning, and affirming that you will do this, and you will listen to your mind, your body, and soul, so you can um, work accordingly in the best way, shape, or form that is meant for you. Because this is a dualistic world, right? Paradox here. And when the soul, the spirit, and the material have union, that's when we are in balance. And that's why I love talking about chakras, because that's also the alignment that we need, right? To be aware, to recover from whatever we've been dealing with, the traumas that we've been dealing with that have been blocking our energy, and resting enough to allow the transformation to reveal itself for you and really manifest for you. Because once you align, your chakras are aligning back to your desires and your intentions. That's when the manifestation is seen. All right. So that's what I have for you, pile one. If you're feeling the vibe, please subscribe. Again, I help my business owners, create exit plans so they can really step into their business full time, right? And feel confident and have the energy that they need so they can move forward, and have a strong foundation that allows them to just keep building up and up and up and up. I do more things like this, but this is definitely the soul vibes that I give to people, to help them heal through the blocks that is going on, that is revealed within themselves and their business, so they can thrive, baby, instead of surviving and working for people that just don't care about your dreams, right? So crown yourself, keep going, and keep doing that inner work. All right, Power One, that's all I have for you. Definitely comment below. Let me know what area really resonated with you. Hit that like button, that notification bell, and yeah, stick around for more. Until next time, I am outie, y'all. Peace. All right. Pile 2, what's going on with you? Let's see. All right, these are the blocks. Let's talk about it. So we got a lack of boundaries invites a lack of respect. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Let's get deeper into this. You know, me thinking about business though, this might be the theme of this pile here, of what's really blocking that you're unaware of. Are you really setting your business up in a way that is protecting what you're doing? Or is it inviting more people to just kind of walk all over you, abuse you, or just like take and not like it really setting you up for a high probability to burn out, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see here. Actually, no, let's put this up here. Okay. All right. So we have the situation. Now for some of you guys, I don't know, can we get like not the fuzzies, please? Yeah, thank you. This is how it looks upright. I kind of feel like for you, and then we have the sun and the sun. I think, okay, there's like a couple things coming up here. And we have the sun. Now, I don't know if this is a Leo up in here that's watching this, but like cool. Or just like, you know, right, Leo rising. But for some of you, you may have a business partner, right? And some of you may be like you may be doing more work than them, and that wasn't your agreement. Or like, I don't know, I'm feeling like there's like some type of block with like you not really knowing where you stand, or yeah, what position, what role that you play within the business, and you're kind of like stepping on toes each other. That's kind of what I'm getting with you. Also, like kind of not really truly understanding more of the relationships amongst what you do. Now, like for instance, if you're a coach, right? You're watching this, you're a coach. If you don't have your business set up in a certain way, have like some type of structure, right? Some type of foundation, some type of framework. It can get kind of lost in the sauce and murky. I remember when I first started coaching, you know, a lot of times if you're just coaching general, you don't have really like a niche coaching method or clientele. You're listening to people's problems, and you're trying to figure out and navigate, you know, being very attentive to their needs. But it can kind of go south or can get really murky really quick, because sometimes, especially in this day in life, like you need to be like, all right, what do you want to work on today, right? And if you just kind of are like winging it, they might just feel that energy and wing it too. They might wind up telling you about school one day and then tell you about an ex-boyfriend from the past, right? And even that too, like certain things might pop up that you may not be equipped to deal with, right? They might need to see a therapist or something. And if you don't have that type of background in psychology or a psychiatric psychologist or whatnot, right? You may not be able to handle these things. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because your relationship with your clients are just as much as your relationship with yourself, just as much as your relationship with your partner, as in like boyfriend, girlfriend, and even family members. Business, you really do need some type of structure. You really need some type of boundaries, like rules and regulations that you go by, as well as that you implement for your clientele, your customers, or whatever. Because I don't know what company you've been to where they don't tell you what their hours are. You know, like, are their hours from 8 to 10? Actually, I have seen a business like that before, and it turned me all the way off, because it's like, how was I supposed to know? Like, they had the business hours on there, but they would show up all types of hours, and it was just like, what? Like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't even know what type of business this is. Is this like a storefront? If you know, you know. So I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? So I don't know, that maybe for some of y'all. For others, it may be that like your close partnership, right? Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, whatever, has been lowering the vibes, right? And possibly not respecting the type of work that you do. Sometimes they just don't understand you. And it's okay, doesn't mean that they don't love you. For some, it might mean that they're selfish and they don't care. It depends, right? You have to know your relationship. But like, if your partner ain't an entrepreneur and you are, a lot of times they're not going to get it, because anybody that is working the 9 to 5 grind, you know, and answering to a boss, they don't understand about being a boss. And if they kind of do, they may low-key be hating. You know what I mean? Like, people close to you do hate. But, you know, it can be human nature. But if they're doing things and throwing shade at you, that's a problem here. Because I'm looking here at the challenge, and it's like something that you've been trying to make work, right? And implement in your business has been feeling like you've been having a hard time, almost like people are walking all over you, and you're not asserting yourself in a way that is strong, is courageous, is brave, and is a badass. Okay? I feel like for some, y'all might need to step into nature a little bit. Yeah, look at this. Renewal and enlightenment. We got the root chakra coming through and the solar plexus coming through again. Pile 1 had solar plexus as well. I feel like for you, Pile 2, that look at this. These colors are matching the chakras. You need to ground yourself, Pile 2, and really check in with yourself. Like, look at her. She's aligning her chakras. She's aligning with earth and as above, so below, right? As within, so without. She's checking in with herself, understanding her needs. The root chakra talks about your needs, feeling safe. Are you secure? Are you taking care of your home, your need, like your physical needs to survive, right? What is that list called? I can't remember, but like home, shelter, like food, like, let's get real here, because I've been here before, where I started freelancing when I pretty much started living on my own. I did go to college, but like the colleges I went to, like I dropped out of college for like a year and a half. I was around my sister then. The next time I went to college and got my degree, I was a commuter for 4 years. Commuting an hour and a damn half, y'all, to to every daggone day. Anyway, I just had to reflect, because I don't understand how I did that. But I had like a home to go back to, so it was kind of like I was still like a newbie living on my own. And for some, you would think like, oh, why wouldn't you think that you need money for food, or why wouldn't you think that you need money for rent or whatever. But like, I really was so determined to be an entrepreneur and make my business that I was not thinking about my needs. And for some reason, shape, or form, my bills got paid, by the skin of my teeth. And I always neglected the food. Like, I would go to like the dollar menu and this and that, which kind of goes down another story about my health when in entrepreneurship. But to stay on pile two here, um, I I realized through my own healing and looking within that this was dealing with inner child wounds. This was dealing with some of the ways that I was raised, and limiting beliefs and about myself, as well as food, like food, nutrition, body, love. Like a lot of that goes into like one pot, I guess. And I didn't realize how deep it went, and I don't know. I kind of feel like somebody that's gonna watch this is hitting it, but the root chakra is physical things as well, and it also deals with money. It also deals with money, and if you were raised in situations, that were poor, right? If you're raised in the hood, if you were raised around people that may not have took like cooking for themselves serious or whatnot, like um that can play out in your adulthood. I'm trying to think of other things, because some of these things pertain to me, some of these things don't. But I just know that what lives in the subconscious will be revealed, especially when you're able to sit with yourself, when you're able to tap into those chakras, right? And the root chakra, like if you don't feel safe, you're out here trying to survive. You're in flight or fight mode. And this quote that's coming to mind, any fabulous fans out there, but I remember, damn, I don't remember the exact words, but he was saying like, would you trust a hungry dog to not like attack you, or if, I can't remember, damn, I don't remember the words now. But it is basically saying like the instincts of, an animal that's hungry. Like, what you think that they're going to do? You really think that they're going to like come up to you and give you a kiss? Like, no. Um, so for some of you, Power 2, like y'all may have really been in survival mode, um, and not really looking at the boundaries that you need to place, or even like self-worth, right? Like, I was out here doing $50 logos. I had a bachelor's degree, first of all, like, but a lot of people weren't really like telling me. And then again, like my self-worth was down here. So I was like still thinking I was this newbie when I really already had like some years under my belt with branding already. Like, so something's going on here, pile two, with this. And you may be feeling like in the dark about things because you don't have people. Because I see like the sun, the light here, 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 sunset. Like you may be feeling like you're in the dark about some things. And I think that there is going to be someone coming around to actually show you, enlighten you with some things. Or you're going to enlighten yourself here. Let's talk about the advice. Because what's been blocking you is like, you may just not know about business that much, you know what I mean? And therefore, like, you didn't even think that like boundaries was a thing. Let me just say this before I go into your block. Like, I've been also a massage therapist. They talk about we had to get certified or to complete this, to complete the certification. I think it took 9 months. There's 9 months, there's 12 months, right? They only spend business for like a month. And the crazy thing is like, yo, massage therapists are basically entrepreneurs. But the way they set you up is to know a lot of this stuff, know very little bit about entrepreneurship and running a business, because they basically say, hey, go into one of those businesses that are franchised, like Massage Envy or Hand and Stone and things like that, right? That literally give you, what is it, 10, 15, or 20% out of what the actual base amount a member is paying. They're not giving you 50, they're giving you, like, again, 15 to 20% out of it. And sometimes you'll think like, oh, well, you get tips and we're setting up, we have administration and we have the promoting going on. But this is the structure that corporate America does. And a lot of times, if you don't own your shit before you ask for help, if you don't have capital before you really start asking for help, a lot of times, just like in the music industry, people feel raped. They feel in the dark, because it's like they sign these wacko contracts, and it pretty much suppresses your self-worth, because you're left in the dark with all this stuff, and you're agreeing to these things, signing contracts that you really didn't even know, or that you may not have read, right? So what's blocking you is really knowing your stuff, so you can really feel secure and safe here. And I think it's time for you, Paltu, to start learning more about business, learning about setting up things, um, whether, I don't know what you do, but when I was talking about coaching, right, you can set up automations where that can lessen your time. You can write down lesson plans that can keep you on track with teaching and informing your clients. These are things that you can do. You have full range of doing what you want to do, because you own your business. If you are a freelancer working under contract, ask these people what their rules and regulations are before you sign these contracts here, because contracts are written agreements as well as boundaries amongst partnerships. Wow, that took a lot to come up, but I don't know, I feel like that's definitely hitting for somebody. Let's talk a little bit about advice here, because I kind of feel like I already did, but whatever, it's how it goes. Are you exhausting yourself in the process of saving everyone else around you? So this may go back to, like I was saying, like, if you got really like a close partner, romantic partner, wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, y'all, there's some boundaries that need to be met here, and really look at where your partner is coming from, because sometimes they're coming from love, sometimes they're coming from hate. And you will see the true sides of people when you start really setting boundaries and definitely following what you say. Because there's one thing when you say, like, hey, I'm not going to do this, almost like the New Year's, for instance. You set these resolutions and then you don't follow through. It's kind of like, all right, from the outside looking in, it's like, all right, it doesn't mean that they need to disrespect you, but it's almost like, I don't, like, why would I take you serious type of thing, right? That goes for an employee, that goes for customers, that goes for clients. Like, if you're not doing what you're saying, what's up? But if you're setting these boundaries and saying, like, I'm not doing this XYZ anymore, or I'm showing up this way, and you're showing up continually, first of all, you're changing habits and stepping into true identity, confidence, all solar plexus, balanced solar plexus there. And you're also, telling people how to respect you. And when you first implement boundaries, a lot of times you're going to get some type of confrontation, that's the way it goes. But you will see people's true character when and if they keep showing up, crossing your boundaries. And that's when it really becomes disrespectful. It becomes like Like, do you care? Because honestly, they don't, right? And you have to examine, why do they not care? Are they in survival mode? Or do they have, is their mental health really low? Like, what's going on here? And just because you understand their situation does not mean that you can give the excuses, right? So, yeah. I'm going to go right here. I think you need to honor your emotions. Someone is hiding their emotions and not speaking up about why they may be crossing your boundaries constantly, right? Or why they're using you, milking you, you know? And also look at you, because you may be, mirroring the same thing within this partnership. Where you're exhausting yourself because you may have this superhero complex. I've had that before. Maybe you have this people pleasing complex, right? You really got to look at that and own your shit. The ship talks about your emotions, and really wondering, like, should you stay or should you go? Like, making decisions. The Lover card is also about making choices, standing up in your authority here. Balanced chakra. Balanced chakra, balanced solar plexus, and root chakra, because you feel safe and secure enough to stand your ground, boss the F up, and say, like, okay, no more, I'm not having this. This is messing with my money, even. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember not speaking up when people sign up for a 15-minute consultation and I let it go over. Like, no, how many times am I going to do that? Because at the end of the day, I need to get my money, right? That's what runs your business. And sometimes in spiritual businesses, we kind of think like, oh, well, it's okay and I have to be nice and whatever. You don't have to be nice, but you do have to be assertive, right? You can be kind, but being nice is almost like a thin line between people pleasing. This here is flirt with life more. Add some more fun in your life. Everything doesn't have to be so serious, but please take things serious. Shine light on the way that you see things. There's definitely going to be a perspective shift, I feel like, what's going on after you start diving into more business things, and figuring out and enlightening yourself about these business blocks, about like personal development. Limiting beliefs keep coming around for me. And I just think that pile too, like, there may be some limiting beliefs that you have around business or around yourself. More than likely, it's a pair, and it's going to help you gain more confidence, help you gain more energy, right? Help you gain more wisdom on where you're spending your time, spreading yourself thin, and where you're not really celebrating your wins. Because you may, pile two, also have done a lot of work, right? But you don't see the fruit of your labor because there's just a few things that have not been placed correctly. Like, you want to build a house of bricks, not a house of straw. I just literally popped in my head the Three Little Pigs story. You know what I mean? So play a little bit, have a little bit more fun. I don't know, I'm thinking of like mantras here as well. But yeah, like, feel into yourself more. Love on yourself a little bit more so you can feel worthy of really asserting these things. And working with people that see your value, you know? Because there's one thing when someone sees your value and doesn't give that to you, right? Like I said, be aware of the people that habitually cross your boundaries. But it's another when people don't know your worth and you're still kind of working with them, you know? Like, you kind of got to check yourself. Don't want to wreck yourself, all right? So that's all I have for you, my pile twos. Okay? Much love and thanks. Please comment below. Let me know if this is resonating with you. I definitely would love that. I know this is a timeless reading, but Yeah, you came right on time. Definitely let me know what's been resonating. If you're feeling the vibe, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. And, if you're a spiritualpreneur, um, someone that is really looking to align their intentions, their goals, and align their chakras, right? This will help you remove these blocks, and this will set you up in a place that can really help you, one, create a secure exit plan so you can really step into your business full time. And if you're already in your business full time and you're looking to expand and level up, I definitely love to share self-care practices that can really help you understand your energy and recharge that energy, feel confident, feel safe, and feel secure, right? Crown your work, all right? Because you deserve it. So that's all I have for you, pile two. I'm about to move on to pile three. Much love to you again. Thank you for showing up. And yes, let's move forward. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, pile three. Let's see what's going on. Okay. So, I wonder if this has to do with the heart chakra. So it says, sometimes when you are in a place, when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but you've actually been planted. So pile three, I think that you've been working on a lot of things, and what's really coming to mind here is how I was reminded that, when you plant a seed, plants grow downward first before they go up. And I remember I heard this 2 times, and both times I felt like this was the first time I heard it. Well, on the second time I did. And I was like, yeah, I couldn't believe it because that's so true. And I'm like, yeah. So, like, sometimes it's like you feel alone in this. You feel very much in the dark. I see how this is going. It's kind of progressing. Pile two, we just spoke about sometimes being in the dark and not really knowing what's up. Um, but it does allow protection. It does allow you to really get to know yourself, what's going on within you, connection with your own spirit, spirit crew, and really be able to listen keenly. Let's see what the situation here is. Yeah, there's some like lessons, some hard lessons that you've been working through. We got the Hierophant here. Can you see? There we go. The Hierophant. So as I'm recording this right now, we literally just got out of Mars retrograde, and Mars deals with that action, right? But a lot of the lessons learned was, well, what any retrograde does is to help you slow down so you can really listen and really pay attention so you can learn some of these lessons. And there's been like a spiritual lesson, like a real specific spiritual lesson, I feel like, for you, pile three, that was needed. Now, of course, my lessons are my readings are timeless, but I'm just thinking, like, what have you been doing so like rigid, or like, do you feel like you've been kind of conforming to something or going against the grain? Because, like, sometimes when we try to go against the grain and lean more on the extreme side, I feel like a lot of times you're self-sabotaging because um, it's almost like how movements start. And a lot of times when movements start, they start for a certain cause. But when so many people start jumping on the bandwagon, right, there is a power in numbers, but the true intention can become muted because there's a lot more people. And just like we know the story or the game Telephone, like when so many people start um relaying messages, the message becomes watered down and distorted. um I don't know where I'm going now. So that may have been for someone in particular. Oh yes, I was saying that, you kind of feel like you lost your way, or you may have been feeling like extra rigid towards something or a specific belief that you really were carrying so hard and so long. It can stunt your growth. It can stunt your growth. Um, Sometimes when you are in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but you've actually been planted. Now, this is also reminding me of when I first was on my entrepreneurship. Um, there were so many spiritual. I've always been spiritual. I honestly don't like saying that because I do believe everybody is spiritual, but everybody's not awakened to their own spirit, if that makes sense. And for me, I really was not awakened to my own spirit. Um, I knew myself, but not really. I was one of those people, like everything happens for a reason, like um I see these signs and I think they're like these signs. I don't believe in coincidence, but I just don't really get it. And I didn't really break free from, I don't want to say break free because I wasn't really raised on a specific religion, but I was raised to believe in God. I grew up, I was in a Catholic school from kindergarten to eighth grade. So there was religion in my life, but I've always questioned it, right? And I want to say my early 20s or all of my 20s, I was like on this like need to understand like why people always felt so uncomfortable talking about the word God. Um, and that was like running side by side as I was trying to make my business. My first business had nothing to do with spirituality, but in a sense, I still knew like its soul, right? Like, and it reminded me, I'm like, why black folks always talking about they got soul, but like a lot of times they not really recognizing and really talking about the true soul, right? Like, what is this, right? So caught up in the religion aspect, but not the spiritual aspect. Not all I'm saying, but like that was my perspective then. Um, but I'm saying this because I was trying so hard to find what these signs meant. I was missing the synchronicities, if that makes sense. And I was making a business about sneakers, sneaker heads, and I had this movement on why people utilized or had that word sneakerhead, like why they were acting certain ways with that when it really just meant like someone that was in love with sneakers. And I was trying to prove something so much, I was missing the fact that what I was really trying to do was connect with women that loved design, loved sneakers and fashion, right? And had a story behind why they weren't using their creative talents. And I'm saying all this to say, pile three, I feel like you've been riding this wave of um, trying to figure out answers about spirituality and not seeing the spiritual messages or the spiritual lesson of growing an entrepreneurial business, because entrepreneurship is to know yourself, and to know yourself is to know one's own soul and spirit. And that is why I do feel that um, entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be on a spiritual journey, but um, entrepreneurship is on a spiritual journey. And if you the first time you come into this channel, welcome, because this is what my channel is about too. Honoring your spirit and working through the spiritual journey as an entrepreneur. And this is why I offer certain services the way that I do. For others, you may just not be owning up to the fact that like maybe you've been keeping your spirituality in the dark, and um, some things that you have learned about spirituality can actually enhance your business or whatever you're trying to create as an entrepreneur. And looking at this, right, the block here is because there are some things that you have been attached to that have not been serving you, whether it be beliefs, whether it be, let me drink some of my tea, whether it be habits, you know, certain things that you're doing here. Like that whole story I was telling you, like I was so caught up in trying to prove myself with that business that I became attached to this egoic energy, you know, caught up in other people's energy that I was around trying to have to prove myself. And it was like, I don't gotta prove nothing. Like, I am who I am. But, like, honestly, in the fashion industry, in the sneaker industry, all that stuff is just a lot of people are doing a lot of things for clout. A lot of people are showing things off, and it really wasn't about the soul. It was about, like, money and all this other stuff. And I was getting caught up in it. And I kind of found myself feeling lost again. Um, and that may be you, pile three. I don't know. Should we get into it? Let's see what the blocks are a little bit more. Yeah. Trickery. I also feel like since I'm seeing all this green, I feel like you're not trusting yourself, pile three. You're not trusting yourself because you're not trusting that the spiritual signs, the connection you have with spirit, what spirit means to you, right? What God means to you, that source energy. You feel in the dark with the path that you're on, and the enlightenment that your spirituality gives you can actually be your flashlight on this path. But I think that what's blocking you here are some type of beliefs or something about your soul here. I'm seeing soulmate. It could be a person, another person that you're around that you know, isn't truly yours. I don't know. I'm hearing twin flame. I don't like talking about twin flames at all, but I am going to bring this up where twin flames, I do feel that it is a true spiritual sense and meaning towards twin flames. But I do believe that, especially at least to my knowledge in 2016-ish, it almost that the terminology spread like wildflower, right? And a lot of people were waking up to this information that they kind of didn't even understand. And were kind of leading this light in a way that they haven't quite figured out, right? Because even as on a collective, like sometimes on a collective, we can get this information, but we're all growing through that and learning through it, you know, of course at different rates. But it's kind of like there's so many different perspectives. You don't really know the true until it actually grows over time and becomes mature enough so you can actually be like, oh snap, like nah, that wasn't it. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that because like I rode the twin flame train before, and I had to keep getting off at different stops because some of the stuff resonated very deeply and some of the stuff did not. And I'm saying that to say like, yes, there are multiple types of soulmates, right? But you have to know yourself a little bit more before you start listening to false prophets, before you start looking for answers that you're not really quite sure what you're truly looking for or what direction to go into, you know. Have you ever tried to go to a place you've never been to without trying to figure out the map, like how to get there? Like, it don't make sense, right? So I don't know. I know I can go on and on about twin flames. We ain't gonna go there, but I don't know if you're with a partner that may have distracted you, right? Or possibly distracted you and learned a lot of lessons. But there comes a time where, like, when it comes, especially with soulmates and relationships, there comes a time when you have to understand, do you have the same goals? Are you actually really have the same intentions, right? Because love is love. I love hard, you know, but sometimes people get scared and they go off on a different path or sometimes people just know that that path ain't for them, like, and you got to respect that, and you got to move forward, because you got to know what path you're on. Make choices that are for your greater good and for others, and move forward with the trust of spirit, with the trust of source, and with the trust of, and knowing that your entrepreneurship is constantly evolving, just like your soul growth, right? And just like any relationship that you have too, there are periods and times where you have to grow and figure out the pace that you're going to grow, because not everybody grows at the same pace. And sometimes there are a lot of illusions that are put into place, right? And manipulations within relationships, because sometimes we're operating out of survivor mode, or we're operating out of fear. Fear will always bring illusions to the mix. And I feel like that's what's blocking you, pile three, in your work is fear. Are you afraid of losing people, leaving certain things that you loved behind, but not recognizing you once loved behind, and you may not have that passion anymore? Or that thing that you love may not be serving you in the best way, shape, or form anymore. It may have served you at one time, but it ain't serving you to where you're trying to go now, right? Because we got here this Princess of Pentacles, and Princess of Pentacles is formulating a plan that you see fit so you can move on to the next destination, because she came a long way. She's making a pit stop. She's trying to gather her resources to move forward. So let me move forward with this block here and talk about this. And it says, but did you forgive yourself? So you may have, I'm also hearing like you may have been in dark night of the soul type of phase here going on as well. Pile three. The dark night of soul definitely will bring you to your knees, like these, like they are in here. We got the rings, making me think of the union and baggage. Okay, so I don't know if you've been walking with somebody that has a lot of baggage and they still haven't let go of some of the baggage. This may be you, this may not be you. But I will say I'm looking at this Yang card right here, right? And Yang is the masculine energy. Now, we all have masculine energy within us. I don't care if you're a female, if you're a male, if you are non-binary, whatever, you still have masculine energy in you. You still have Yang energy in you. I don't care if you're a dog, okay? You have you have yin and yang in you. And there's this energy that asserts itself, arrow out. Just like if you have the genitals of a penis, it is out. If you naturally have that, it is out. And it's, you are being drawn to something, you are taking action on something, you are structuring something. Now, when you tap into your feminine energy, it is receiving information, it is receiving intuition, it is the creative aspect that is gathering the energy, conjuring it, so you can actually start implementing that, processing that into physical form, i.e. the yang. Like, it's a proven fact where the egg is there and the sperm comes to the egg, right? The egg don't come to the sperm, right? So I'm not a biologist or anything like that, so let's talk about this though. Having union with yourself first and foremost is having balance of what you are creating, what the ideas, the intentions that you have come to realize, and actually bringing it into reality, into physical form. And a lot of times, if you don't recognize that within your journey, if you don't recognize that as something that's conscious, that you are aware of, it winds up, the energy can't flow, right? And this is where I love bringing in chakras to business, because no matter if you don't have a business or not, but let's just stick on business owners. When our chakras are blocked, our business is blocked in certain areas. And um, for your chakras to be aligned is allowing the flow of that source energy to flow through you from the rooted to the tuta, right? The crown to the root, from the spiritual realms to the actual reality of the earth, physical form. And when you don't utilize, when the energy, especially in your brain, is unconscious or subconscious to you, you're not aware, right, that light isn't shined on it, and it creates baggage. And sometimes when you don't do what you know, it also creates baggage. And for you, it may be two different things going on, right? Like, when you don't forgive yourself, when you don't love yourself, you're feeding into the fear. You're feeding into um, the lack, the self-loathing, the lower energies of vibes like shame, guilt. All of that is a low frequency. It hangs down low. And you want to raise your vibes higher. You don't want to be heavy and feeling like burdens are on your back and things like that, right? But I think for you, Pile 3, you may not really know. And maybe you have been in the what is it called? The dark night of the soul. I was about to say the dark shadow. And, things were like, that terminology was coined because when you are going through this spiritual process and you're connecting more with your spirit, there are certain levels that you do look at these shadows, these things that were kept in the dark, these things that are hanging out in our subconscious, or things that we weren't aware of, so we can actually find ways to transform it, transmute it, that temperance energy into light, and bring that aha moment, turn that light on within, because as within, so without. Your environment does play a big part to it, but your environment at times you cannot change unless you change yourself within first. And sometimes when you have these relationships, if there's anything to do with relationships, Pile 3, that's holding you back from creating this business, utilizing your God-given talents, it creates blocks. You don't have enough room to receive if you have all this baggage here. Like it's like I'm getting this picture of you moving into a house that already has things in it, right? But you trying to bring new things in your house, right? Like, huh? How? How can you move into a new house with old stuff that wasn't yours and expect to move your new things in there and not get it dirty? Like, that doesn't happen that way. You have to release. That's actually a scientific, universal thing. In order to receive, you must release. In order to gain something, that something has to be left behind. Um, you know, and when it comes to people, like, if they have too much baggage going on, you trying to fly high, they're going to be weighing you down. And it's up to them. It comes to a point and it's up to them when they have to do the work to let go of the baggage. So if they want to fly together, because if not, they're trying to hide and trickery and all this stuff, and it starts becoming a cycle of being used, and nobody wants to be used. You want to be used in an agreement that fits for you, that's fair and is balanced, so you can work in unity, not in some lopsided, distorted stuff. So really check in with your heart. How much are you loving yourself? Because a lot of times self-love means no, right? It's kind of feeling like a little love reading going on here. But a lot of times, like, people don't realize that, like, people block you from building your best multi-million-dollar business because you stuck around with Tyrone that didn't see your vision or was too afraid, saw your vision but was too afraid because they thought that they didn't trust themselves enough to let you rein up and come with you. Or maybe they knew that they wasn't supposed to come with you in the first place. Who knows, right? But you got to check in with your heart with that. All right. So pile 3, that's what I got for you. All right, that's what I got. That's what I got. I hope you're feeling the vibe. If this is resonating, please comment below. I love to see the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I post things. I'm going to be doing a mix of both. Like, I'm going to be having the cards and I'm going to be talking about business blocks. That's definitely my number one thing, and offering solutions that really help you step into your business full time, that help you expand your business, and that help you recharge your energy so you have the energy to maintain this business. And really, again, as within, so without. Look at yourself, look at your blocks, how it's affecting your business. All right. Because I want you to thrive. I want you to rock that crown, right? Because you deserve it. I don't know. All I can say is look out for more. Check out the links below and do what it do, y'all. Until next time, I'm out of y'all. Peace.